How you doing? Well, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of negative responses to this, but this is something I've never heard said, and it needs to be said. So that's the purpose of this video. I'm going to say it. About a week ago, one of the biggest news stories in the world was the fact that Anderson Cooper told somebody on a talk show that he was a homosexual. He was gay. It was one of the biggest stories in the world. Now, if you're one of those people that wonder what the hell is wrong with the world these days, that's a good place to start right there. With all the atrocities going on in the world, and that's one of the biggest stories, come on. And I didn't read the story. I saw the headline, and of course, it was on the internet. And every news story below there, you can post your comments or whatever, right? Everybody knows that. And every comment posted was, "Oh, who cares, Anderson? We've known for years. Tell us something we don't know." One lady even wrote something to the effect of, "You set such a high standard for men, Anderson. Keep it up. If all men strive to be more like you, the world would be a much better place," something insanely stupid like that. For all you people out there that condone homosexuality, that think that it's a perfectly harmless alternative lifestyle, no big deal, who cares? This video is for you because obviously you've never taken 20 seconds to think about what it really means to be a homosexual. You know, they take a nifty little nickname like gay and throw it on a word like homosexual, and all of a sudden it's okay. Nobody cares. It's no big deal to be a homosexual. Well, let me tell you what a homosexual is. A homosexual is a man, and by the way, I'm going to be clinical about this. I'm going to use words like ejaculation and erection and so forth, because if I spoke it in the language that you and I would speak it in, they might not let me post this because it'd be too lewd or perverse. So what does that tell you? But back to the homosexual. A homosexual is a man who gets on his hands and knees and lets another man put his erect penis in his mouth, and then the homosexual sucks on his penis until he ejaculates, and then he swallows his semen. Now, if you're a straight man and you just heard me say that and your stomach's not curdling and you don't feel like going to puke, there's something wrong with you. Because anybody out there that thinks that that is a normal, natural occurrence, what the hell's wrong with you? I mean, that is disgusting. It's a perversion. Don't you get it? We're not even talking about the flip side, where he flips over and lets the man put his erect penis up his rectum and they have anal sex. That's what homosexuals do. They have sex with one another. You know, men tend to forge long-lasting bonding friendships. I have several friends that I've known for 40 years, 30, 40 years. And there's been several situations where we were somewhere where there was two of us in one bed, and we both slept in the same bed. We're adults. We didn't have sex because we're not homosexuals. You may be saying that, oh, well, you're just talking about nothing but sex. Well, that's all it is, nothing but sex. That's what makes a homosexual a homosexual. And let me tell you a little something about myself, too, because I probably have a little more insight on this than you do, because my entire life, ever since I was 12 years old or so, 11 or 12 years old, until I got into my mid-30s, I was hounded by these guys. Hounded. I always looked very young for my age, 15 years younger or so, up until I got into my early, mid-30s, and then it started slowing down. I'm 60 years old. It's caught up with me. I know that. But then it hadn't. When I was 30, I looked 15. And for a solid 25 years, I had these guys hounding me. Whatever it was about me, I don't know what it was, but I attracted them like flowers attract bees. I've been hit on by more homosexuals than you can shake a stick at. Now, I'm not a violent person because these guys are bold. They'll walk right up to you and ask you, and a lot of people end up hitting them and, whatever. Me, I'm kind of a people person, and, I'd usually laugh at them and, ask them, what are you nuts, man? Walking up asking, find out, what their bag is. And I've worked with a few homosexuals that I've known and talked to, and you know what? All four of these guys, there were four of them, never knew one another, different states, every one of them. Do you know what their goal in life was? Their goal in life was to save enough money so when they got in their 50s or so, they'd be able to go out and buy young boys so they could suck their penises. Now, there's something wrong there. Every city in this country has a place where the drug addicts are, where you can go cop heroin or whatever. They're selling it right there in the street. You can find the blocks where the prostitutes are, if that's your bag. Or you can find the spot where the little runaway kids are and the 14 and 15-year-old boys are out hustling, and the homosexuals drive around in circles till they find one and give them a $20 bill so they can suck their penis. And then when they finish with that one, they go and get another one, and then another one, and another one. And that's what they do. And you think that's natural? You think that there's nothing wrong with that? What's the matter with you? You liberals that condone this, you're so apathetic to the whole thing. You don't think about what it really means. And when someone like Anderson Cooper, who is very famous, stands up and makes that absurd statement that I'm gay and I'm proud, he influences thousands, if not tens of thousands of young 12, 13, 14-year-old boys that are probably thinking, well, gee, Anderson Cooper sucks penises, maybe I should try it. That's when I take offense. Personally, I'm a pretty open-minded guy, believe it or not. I don't care what Anderson Cooper puts in his mouth. I couldn't care less. But I do take issue when he makes it public and broadcasts it because he's influential and he's gay. He's proud to be gay. What he's saying is that he's proud that he gets on his hands and knees and sucks another man's penis. And you condone that? You don't see that? If you're wondering what the problem with the world is, and you don't get this, and you still condone homosexuality, you're the problem. Because you got your head buried in the sand, you have no morals, and you don't have a clue what's going on. And let me leave you with one thought. Let me leave you with a thought. Let's assume you've got an 11, 12, 13-year-old son. And you also have a neighbor that's a homosexual. He's not a flamer, but you know. And you've talked to him. You know he's a homosexual. He's got a buddy that comes over, and his buddy's a homosexual. Well, they're planning a little camping trip. And they want to take your 12, 13-year-old boy out in the woods with him for a couple of days. Would you let him go? Would you let your 13-year-old son go out in the woods with two homosexuals for 2 days? Let me tell you something. If you say yes, you would, all I can say is thank God you weren't my parents. Homosexuality is a sick disease. It's perverted. And you know what? I'll bet you anything that even Anderson Cooper has had a penis in his mouth that was younger than 18 years old. Isn't that pedophilia? Because they like them young. Everyone, they like them young. I doubt if very many homosexuals have true monogamous relationships because there's something about sucking penises that they're like crackheads. They got to have it. It's unbelievable. So you think about that. Think about if you let your son go out in the woods with, even if it was Anderson Cooper. You can let him go out there with 2 homosexuals for 2 days in the woods? Have a good evening.